Hello, friends, both old and new. Djinn St. Baptiste here. Thank you for coming out today. Um, I'm really excited to have this episode. We're going to finish talking about uh, Good Omens. So, if anybody out there has any questions they'd like to ask, any thoughts they'd like to provide, please do so. Amy couldn't make it today, so this is probably going to be a relatively short episode. Just because I know nobody wants to hear me waffle for hours. Just saying hi to who's in the chat right now. Anime Lover Nicole, Peter Griffin, Julianne89, and of course the one spinner that rules them all, Bron Holler. Glad to see you all here. Also, we're going to talk about what project we're going to do next, and you're going to get to do so. Oh, hi, Bobby. It's good to see you. I'm going to let all of you pick which of two projects we do next involving the work of Neil Gaiman. Anime Lover Nicole, the Crowley cosplay, honestly, I've got so used to wearing sunglasses inside that I almost can't not do so. It like hurts my eyes when I go to work. Especially last weekend at the convention, which I've essentially recovered from, mostly anyway. I had sunglasses on for like 72 hours. Hey, Lauren. My HP sauce got left with the curry that we sent whenever Nancy had to take you home to get refrigerated, so I don't have it. I'm sorry. I know you brought it all the way from Scotland. It is good to see you in here, though. So does anybody have first? Who's this? KCC? I don't believe I've seen you here before. Welcome, welcome. Oh, now Lauren's mad at me because I forgot the HP sauce. Well, Lauren, I still have your gift too, and it's still unopened. Yeah, things got kind of muddled there on a Saturday. Don't hate me forever, Lauren. Um, but so I believe everybody here watched the show and possibly read the book. In my defense, I was probably drunk. Bron Holler, the whole weekend is a haze. It really is. Yeah, the whole weekend is pretty much a haze. Saying I overdid it is the understatement of the millennium. But did have fun for the most part. Got to see a lot of people who, I never would have got to meet otherwise, which was pretty cool. Amy has a lot going on today, so she couldn't make it in here. But we spent most of the weekend together, which was pretty awesome. So that was a good time. What's this, Lauren? You looked like a haze walking about like Crawley. Yeah, I've kind of got used to the Crawley walk too. It's kind of like a habit now. Oh yes, Julianne, I did the Crawley walk for most of the weekend. Partially intentional, partially un. But yeah, it's funny. So yeah, speaking of Crawley, did anybody have any thoughts about how he was portrayed in the show? Anybody have any final thoughts on that? Because I personally thought it was really good, but I'd like to hear what everyone in the chat thinks. And by the way, if you're watching this later, there will be a vote to select what we're working on next. And I'm very excited about either project. Julianne said she enjoyed it, but hadn't read the book, so no expectations. Lauren said, well, a lot of people haven't read the book. It's a good show. As someone who likes the book and has probably read it 20 times, I think it was really good adaptation. There were a few things that were left out that I was slightly disappointed by. You heard, if you watched that episode, you heard Ben and I whinge about the bikers not being in it. And then you got to hear us gush about motorbikes for about 15 minutes. But yeah, overall, I think it was really well done, really great. Lauren says that everything David Tennant does is great, and Crawley's been one of his best. I agree entirely. I thought he portrayed the character exactly how I pictured him in the book. And KCC pretty much backs that up. David Tennant's mannerisms really work for him. Yeah, Brown Holler, I agree. I thought the casting was great. I think they really hit it out of the park with that. I can't think of any complaints I had about any of the casting. I know that Ben didn't care for the fact that Anathema was an American, but I think with the story it worked pretty well. With some of the changes they had to make just to adapt it from a book written 20 years ago to a show written now. 20, 25, long time ago. Yeah, overall, I thought it was really good. Yeah, Bobby, there are no more. It was a 6-episode miniseries. It was just the book adapted to the show. And some people are sitting here speculating that there's going to be a sequel. Honestly, I really hope that doesn't happen. For one thing, it wouldn't have the influence of Terry Pratchett on it. And also, I don't think it's necessary. I think it would be too Hollywood. I love the fact that Neil Gaiman doesn't let anybody uh, have full control over any of his work. You know, he always has final say. He always does the executive production or so forth. Um, which I think is good. Yes, KCC. Like I said, I hope not. Hi, Maura Lee, on your lunch break. Fantastic, fantastic. While we're talking about Crowley, we might as well move on to Azuraphile. What did you think of the casting? Lauren's Corner. That's actually my. I got to browse it. It's actually my book today for the 7-day book challenge. So I'll be finished with it uh, by the end of the day. And no, Nashville did not claim it. Right here. That's Lauren Cullen, Lauren's Corner's newest book. Definitely worth checking out. If anybody has the link, Brown Holler, possibly. If you can put a link in, that would be excellent. Yeah, Michael Sheen's perfect at playing the part. I thought it was really good. I I love that. Uh, how is it? I can't remember the exact phrase that was used in the book, but we were talking about this on the final episode. everybody thought that Crowley was, uh, what is it? Something in English and gayer than a tree full of monkeys on nitrous oxide. And he pulled that off really, really well. Yeah, morally, they played on that a bit more. It seemed less like two spies on opposite sides who have more in common with each other, and more like two people who've been around each other so much. It's almost like an old married couple. That's a really good way to put it. On anime, Lover Nicole says they were the original husbands. I also thought that the child actors they got did a very good job. I was quite impressed, especially the young man who played Adam. I for someone that age, I think he played the part really well. Nothing came across as contrived. Nothing came across as a lot of times when you have children in a movie, it can just by the nature that they're younger people and haven't had as much life experience, it can come across really contrived and forced and poorly done. And I thought that the children actors, especially the young man who played Adam, I'm sorry, his name escapes me right now, worked out really well. This thing won't show look. Agreed, KCC. Yeah, they can. There have been a lot of really good kid actors lately um, who can nail the role without being flat or annoying. Oh, do you have to go back to work, Laura? Well, thank you for stopping in. It was good to see you, and I hope to again soon. Um, Actually, Lauren, this is a filter thing that's supposed to help me quit smoking. It hasn't been working thus far, but we'll see. I mean, Hunter S. Thompson kept smoking with these for like 40 years, so might not work. Uh, let's see, other Shadwell and Mrs. Oh, why is her name escaping me? Madam Tracy. I really like Shadwell's character. I understand that Ben and Amy found his Scottish accent a little off, which I can understand if you're used to uh, being around people from Scotland. You notice little nuances that other people won't notice. It's just like here in the States, like there is a very different accent in different parts of New England, but people hear anyone from New England and think they're all from Boston, and it's like, no, this is a sixth of the country, and people, the little nuances that I would notice that maybe not somebody from another country would notice. So I do get that, but I thought the actor came across well as being like A, slightly shady, and B, slightly daft, and just obsessed. Maura Lee, yeah, it's already actually been green lighted. As far as I know, from what I've heard most recently, American Gods has already been green lighted for a third season, which I'm very excited about. Once again, as someone who really enjoys that book, I think that the additions they've been making to the show are working well, and I'm really enjoying it. Oh, Brown Holler says Shadwell's accent was described as being all over the shop. Can't recall the exact description, but something like careening about the country. I'll need to reread that. Yeah, well, Casey, you're not supposed to care much for Shadwell, and you're kind of supposed to not care for him. Like you almost love to hate him. Speaking of love to hate, uh, Ham as uh, I'm sorry, not Gabriel, Michael, or yeah, Gabriel was, I think, spot on. He just came across such a pretentious dick. Yeah, Miranda Richardson as Madame Tracy was just absolutely brilliant. She's such an amazing actress. I've always liked everything that I've seen her in. In fact, I thought all the angels were played pretty well in the Devils. Because you get the sense that they really have no idea. They just want a war for the sake of the war, and they have no idea what they're fighting over is really all about. And yeah, agreed, Anime Lover, Nicole. All the supernatural actors were great. Let's see. And I love Benedict Cumberbatch as the voice of Satan. I thought that was just perfect. Um, oh, thank you for the quote, Ron Holler. All right, Morley, thanks for stopping in again. I really appreciate it. Have a good rest of your day at work, please. And Anime Lover Nicole, love the Horseman. Yes, so did I. Particularly Famine, I thought was played well. And I want his motorcycle a lot. I liked that they also made, just like in the book, pestilence or pollution, uh, kind of gender ambiguous. Because if you remember from the book, it was pretty much the same type of thing. Um, so I thought that was really well done. Did anybody else have any thoughts on any portrayals? Oh, Casey, yes, I also liked the change they made to War's introduction. I think it was more up to date. Oh, nice. That's an interesting piece of information. Lauren says that Shadwell's accent was designed to be all over the place in dialect. The actor took advice from many different Scots, but importantly, it should be note is a poke at U.S. actors failing to do the accents. Agreed. It always impresses me when somebody actually pulls off an accent that's not their native one really, really well. From Cylon Jones, my other show, um, I really Jamie Bamber blows my freaking mind because if you hear him speak normally and you hear him speak on Battlestar Galactica, you're just like, yeah, it blows my mind how he pulls the other one off. Yeah, I agree, Lauren. I thought the actor's depiction was pretty spot on to the book, but I understand why Ben didn't care for him. Ben's our resident curmudgeon anyway, so when he comes on, everything's going to be picked apart. And I can understand when you love a work, you've kind of got to do that. And yeah, that's why I think it's great anytime he comes on here. It always makes me very happy. So nothing else about the acting. Anyone who's read the books, did you have any gripes or compliments to changes that were made? I'd be interested to hear. Because overall, I was fine with everything. Like I said, I didn't like that the bikers were cut out, but I understand why. Um, well, I think, Lauren, what I'm talking about is small changes that were made just to essentially update it. To make it current, to make it modern. Um, because yeah, I wish Terry were alive too to see it. What is really cool, I don't know if you saw this episode, but of my show, but when uh, at the premiere, Neil Gaiman reserved the seat next to him and got Terry's famous hat and scarf and put him in the seat, which I think was pretty cool. Yeah, I agree, Casey. I can't think of any changes I'm unhappy with. The changes all seem reasonable to update the show and come across well on television. I agree. I think overall they all worked. Um, one, as I said, with the time thing, and then the other is you're going to have to make certain changes when you adapt something from the page to the screen. Certain things that work uh, really well in one media don't work really well in another. Brown Holler says, while there are bits I was sad weren't included, I did love the added bits, and the overall feel was brilliant. Agreed. And Julianne says she would have liked maybe 8 episodes, but that's just my selfishness. I loved in episode 3 the first half, which is completely added in, which shows Crawley and Aziraphale throughout the ages. I thought that was really, really well done and really cool. It gives you a little more backstory on their relationship and so forth. Yeah, Lauren, I got to meet him. It was very momentary, but I did get to meet him once, and he was a very, very nice gentleman. Um, but yeah, an example I always use about going from one media to another. One thing that I'm sure anybody here knows is I have a passionate love for Tolkien, and I read the Lord of the Rings once a year, every year, and have since I was 14. And so much of his other work, I've read every piece of work, every annotated piece of work, everything that his son finished off with his notes. And I think the Lord of the Rings films worked well because they left the character Tom Bombadil out. And it's because in the book he works, but on screen he would have been Jar Jar Binks. It would not have worked at all. Oh, Lauren, are you going to bed? Sleep well, dear. Have a good night. I'm glad you're feeling better than you were last time I saw you. And don't forget, buy Lauren's book. I'll try and remember to put the description or the link in the description down below for anyone who comes back to watch this later. Let's see. So yeah, it seems like nobody had any really big complaints about switching things over, which is good. Now, oh hey Moni, good to see you. I hope you're doing well today. I hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday, which is a very fabulous day. Let's see. What else did I want to cover about the show? I also really liked the parts they added at the end. The little bit that was added to the end that wasn't in the book. Did anyone have any thoughts about that? And I have to get up for just a second. I will be right back if you want to discuss that for a moment. Sorry about that. Cat issues. Hope this doesn't touch anybody's buttons out there. I'm pretty sure my cat's bulimic because she eats until she vomits and then I get to clean it up. It's awesome. Yeah, Peter. Yeah, that scene was completely added to the show, and I thought it worked really, really well though. The bath scene, yeah, I thought it was awesome. Agreed, Casey. It was a little more conclusive and satisfying. Well, thanks, Moni. Yeah, this is a lot closer to my natural hair color. Yeah, I was fooled a little bit too, Peter. And yeah, I agree with you entirely, Brunhaller. Um, the book wrapped things up a bit, which or the show rather. Whereas in the book, it's a little more, choose your own ending, which works great in a book. Once again, it's one of those things that doesn't necessarily translate well to TV. A lot of times, things have been left open and ended like that, and um, it just doesn't work out. Uh, no, no, there. I only have the cat and the turtle, and the turtle lives in a tank, brown holler. But I have seen that be a concern with other people, with having two pets and the one it's like food hoarding or something like that, just hoarding it in their stomach. Now I need to take her to the vet. Honestly, oh now she wants attention. Um, So yeah, the bathtub scene I thought was just great. It took me by surprise at the end. But you know, Johnny and I talked about this when he was on my show for the episode 6, and yeah, they played really fair with the whole body switch thing. If you rewatch it, they played really fair. All right, Shade. Here's a couple from Brun Holler. Talking to my cat on air. Yes. Oh, I'll just bring her up here. There, that's Shade. The evil ghost that wanders my house. Yeah, Julianne, you'll see on the rewatch they give a lot of really good clues uh, about it. And the bathtub scene, yes, it's just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Um, so, did anybody have any final thoughts about the show? Anything they'd like to share? Moni, I think there have been satisfying TV endings. I was pretty satisfied with this one. Um, Battlestar Galactica, which is probably my favorite show of all time. I think for me, what it is that when when a TV show doesn't set out with a set ending in mind, it's usually just satisfying. Whereas when they have acts 1, 2, and 3 written ahead of time and are set with that, and they plan on that, and they plan on ending it at X point with X number of episodes, I think it works really well. Yeah, Casey, I thought that was pretty well done too. That the Archangel Michael brings the holy water down to hell. And I love how heaven and hell are portrayed. Like heaven looks very sterile and kind of like a really clean airport. And if there is such a thing, and hell just looks like backstage at the rattiest nightclub you've ever been in your life. Well, Julianne Terry Pratchett unfortunately passed away about, I think it was about 8 years ago. Um, that was the only work that Neil and Terry did together. Yeah, I'd like to see some of Terry Pratchett's stuff uh, done on TV. Ron Holler. Uh, Everybody, especially since he was such a prolific writer and the Discworld series was so prolific, everybody has their personal favorites. Mine is Pyramids, but that's probably because it was the first book of his that I ever read when I was about like 13 or something like that, and so it resonated with me the most. I've probably read it the most times. Lords and Ladies, I think, would make an excellent TV show. Yeah, Moni G, you should definitely check Battlestar out. Speaking of which, self plug, every Friday night we discuss Battlestar Galactica with first panel of first time viewers. It's the Cylon Johns and Jills. Johnny hosts. I'm the resident expert, allegedly. And we have a panel of 4 people who have never watched the show before who come on and give their thoughts about the show because we do a spoiler-free review 1 episode at a time every week. And we, of course, in the chat have the honorary Jill, Julianne89, who also, if you've ever been on my channel, check out the thumbnail. She puts them all together, and they're really amazing. Some really cool design work. So Bronholler, yours is a toss-up between Lords and Ladies, Small Gods, and Hogfather. I think I heard they're actually making a telly show of Hogfather, like another miniseries. At least I believe I heard that somewhere. Yeah, when shows get canceled and they've got to rush everything at the end, it's really disappointing because it doesn't have a proper conclusion. Now you can leave an open-ended conclusion and it works fine. Perfect example is Inception. If anybody's ever seen that movie, but yeah, when a show has to wrap up fast because it's just ran too long and it's not as popular as it had been, and a lot of times the last season or the last half of the last season is just rubbish. So I guess we'll move on to. Does anybody else have anything else to say in final conclusion about Good Omens? And if you want, you can go back and watch all of our discussions about all 6 episodes right on my channel. I'll go ahead and put a link down in the description after this is over. And we had some really in-depth discussions episode by episode, but I just wanted to go ahead and do a final chat to discuss everybody in the chat's final thought. Is usually when it's Amy, myself, and sometimes Ben, and on one occasion Johnny, discussing. We don't get to address quite as many things as you guys have, and I just really wanted to do that today. So I'll give you a minute or two to think on that. And by the way, thank you for all the compliments on my hair, everybody. I really appreciate that. Yeah, that's actually that animated over Nicole. That's actually out of the book. Or no, in the book they don't burn it; they just never look at it. Um, they never look at it, so it's kind of like almost an exaggeration of what they do in the book. Where in the book they still receive the tome of predictions, but they never look at it. And I think that line might have been lifted directly from the book. The do you always want to be a descendant? Brunholler, this is just really bright right now. It should fade more to my natural color, which is a bit more of an auburn. By the way, my son did my hair. He needs to go into another line of work. He does an amazing job because this is not fried at all, and I had bleaching it for 45 minutes and dyeing it for half an hour. Yeah, he needs to go into a new line of work. Yeah, probably never go back to black. And my real natural hair color right now is pretty much gray, but I'm a little too vain for that. Yeah, Julian, he really does. He should be doing that for a living and not managing at a convenience store. It's like soul crushing work. All right, Moni G. Hey, thank you for popping in. It was really good to see you. If you get the chance, Moni, please watch the end of this so you can vote on what our next project is. Because I'd really like to hear from you. I hope you have the time to do that. Anyone who votes in the comments, I'll need your votes by midnight on Saturday. That would be, I guess, midnight on Sunday, depending on the way you want to look at it, Eastern time. So I can prepare for what we're going to do next on the channel. But, so we'll get to that. We have two options for what the next project is. We've already covered American Gods Season 1, and we've covered some of Neil Gaiman's short fiction from Smoke and Mirrors. So, our two options for what we're doing next are, thank you, Moni. Thank you very much. Our two options for what we're doing next are Season 1 of American Gods, which we didn't cover because we started these shows with the second season. And we could go over that one episode at a time, week to week. The other would be Neil Gaiman's Norse mythology, which is his own adaptations and interpretations of Norse myths. That is really excellent, awesome book. I can't say enough good about it. I can't say enough good about American Gods, the TV show, either. I've had very few complaints. I've heard quite a few, but people are subjective about what they like. That's why we have so many different options out there. Yeah, I agree, Brian Holler. He needs to go into it. He's just too lazy to go to cosmetology school. So, if anybody wants to vote right now, you can. Or afterwards in the comment section, just go to this video and give me your vote. And that's going to be a hard choice, and I'd go for either. I understand completely, but I'm the one who's being indecisive here, so you have to make the decisions. It's kind of like going out to dinner. Well, Brown Holler, eventually I'll do both, but I can only do one a week. And I'd prefer to do all of one and then all of the other. And then Julianne says, do American Gods Season 1 and then do the book. Brown Holler says the same thing. Sorry, I didn't get to read your entire entry there. That makes 3 anime lover Nicole. I see a trend here. But like I said, you have until Saturday, if you're watching this afterwards, to give your thoughts and opinions about it. Also, just because she has a real life, there are times that Amy can't make it. So if you'd be interested in being my guest every once in a while, it'd be just a few days' notice. So you'd have to be okay with that. But please private message me because I'd be happy to do so. Much as I love listening to myself waffle, I have a lot more fun when I'm talking to somebody about something. Most weeks Amy can make it. It's just sometimes she can't. And if somebody would be interested in being a backup or something like that, that'd be pretty cool. Because I'd love to personally meet all of you. You know. See, I was originally thinking of doing the Sandman, but that is a huge commitment. It would take like most of a year. So unless I win the Powerball and can do an episode a day, that's just not going to happen. Does anybody else have any other things by Neil Gaiman that they really would be interested in hearing about or watching be discussed eventually? Because if so, please let me know. Give you a minute. See, I waffle too much when I'm by myself. Also, just a heads up, after next week, it might skip a week. Just because Google is getting rid of Hangouts, and I have to figure out a new program to use to do these live streams. I've been given a few suggestions by some other content creators, and I'm going to check them out. But I am terribly not technologically savvy. So, oh, Julian Junior sausage waffle biscuit, nice. 16 legs. I don't think I've read that yet. Yeah, Anna Manila over Nicole. We did 2 stories from Smoke and Mirrors. And we did 2 stories from Smoke and Mirrors, and probably do that between each thing for the most part. Like grab a couple of the short stories, like from Smoke and Mirrors or Trigger Warning, to cover, because I think that's really fun, and it's like kind of a standalone thing. I think it's great to introduce people to this literary aspect of the channel, because it's a standalone thing. You don't have to have a huge commitment to a book. But yeah, Anime Lover Nicole, if you go to my page in the Believe playlist, you can find Snowglass Apples and Murder Mysteries, which actually ended up being a 2-parter because it's long. Oh, goodbye, Casey. Have a great afternoon. And yeah, please drop your vote in the comments section if you get the chance. But thank you for stopping by. It was really good to meet you and see you here for I believe, the first time. Ron Holler, in answer to your question, as long as you're not streaming it on YouTube, Google Hangouts is still going to be there. It's just YouTube has had an issue with they've basically had a parting of ways with Google. So Google Hangouts isn't going to be used as the main live stream service for YouTube any longer. Did I say that right? Google Hangouts is not going to be used as the main live stream service for YouTube any longer. They're moving to a few other ones. Oh, Bravosi Broadcast, how are you? Handsome devil. Well, thank you. Bravosi, if you have an opportunity, please go ahead and either in the chat or in the comments vote. We're picking between whether the next project is American Gods Season 1 or Neil Gaiman's Norse Mythology. So if you have a feeling one way or the other, go ahead and drop a comment or something in the live stream. I always rewatch these because I know I miss things that people say. But yeah, Brown Holler, your D&D campaign, I mean, as long as you guys aren't streaming it on YouTube, you'll be fine using Google Hangouts. That'll be no issue. As far as I know. Yeah, and I got to really get cracking on learning one of these new systems because from what Johnny B. Crazy was telling me, Bravosi Broadcast was for Norse mythology, so put that one down. But from what Johnny B. Crazy was telling me, these new programs that'll be usable are a lot more complicated. I mean, Hangouts is pretty simple. which works well for me because I'm pretty simple. So anyway, I'm going to let you all get out of here. New music content will be up soon. If you're into BSG, please, Friday nights, check out the Silent Johns and Jills, or even if not, just it's a fun time. I dropped a new music video for a new series that I'm doing on my channel the other day. It's called History of Music, and it's comparing two pieces of music, one with another, to talk about how the one influenced the other in one way or another, which is something I'm really excited about. But I'll still be doing playlists, and I'll still be doing midweek music ear candy, which hopefully I'll start up next week. I wanted to start it last week, but that just did not happen. I had way too much to catch up on after getting back from holiday. So I am going to get out of here and let you all have a wonderful afternoon. Sorry it was such a short episode today, but we covered a lot, and I'm really excited to get everybody's vote about what we're doing next. So I am going to go ahead and keep an eye on those. Like I said, try and have any votes in by Saturday night if you put them in the comment section. And in the meantime, please be excellent to one another and believe.